Over the course of the past month, I've been following a trading strategy that has actually earned me 113% return on investment from my starting bankroll. Now, that may seem a little bit far-fetched, but I'm going to be completely honest with you here. That wasn't even with one winning trade. So let me get into the strategy for you. Many people, when they hear about the 2-up strategy, don't go through with it. And I know you might have seen a video of mine before where I talk about the potential you can do, but this is actually going to be a video of me showing you my actual results from a month of placing the real live 2-up strategy. So I'll show you absolutely everything here. But the main issue people normally have with the 2-up strategy is the fact that it takes a lot of little caveats for you to get a winning trade. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get profitable trades. So just as a basic blanket bit of understanding here, we'll go into it in a bit more detail in a second, but if you want to learn the real in-depth bits about 2-up, then go watch one of my 2-up specific videos. This is just going to be talking about the profit potential, not the actual step-by-step guide on how you do it. We'll quickly touch on it, but if you want a full step-by-step guide, I've got plenty of videos on the channel of me talking about that already. But the quick bit of 2-up is there's several offers over on betting sites where you can bet for a team to win, and as long as they go 2 goals up, you will get an instant payout on that bet. What you then do is a lay over on Betfair for that result as well, so you're essentially having one bet for the team to win and one bet for the team not to win. If that team goes 2-0 up, you get paid out with the bookmaker, and then if they go on to draw or lose, you get paid out at the Betfair exchange as well. So you're making double the profit on them 2 bets essentially, because both of them are getting paid out even though only one of the events ended up being true. Now, I've done this for the past month, as I've just said. I only did 13 trades on this and not a single one went 2-0 up and then either drew or lost, but we still made that 113% return on investment. If one of the teams had gone 2-0 up and then drawn or lost, our return would actually be a lot bigger. Now, on the winning trades, we were getting between 13% return and 40% return, but on the losing trades, we were never losing more than 5%. So this is exactly what you want from a strategy. So let's get into the results. So as you can see here, this is the results from my month of doing this. So you can see in green, all the ones we made a profit on. In amber, the one where we didn't make a profit or a loss. And then in red, you can see where we made a loss. Now, this is perfect. I'll show you where we sourced our 2-ups in just a second. We never made a loss of 50p throughout the whole time because we were looking at a 95% ratio of a rating. Now, we did do 194%, but luckily for us, we actually made a profit on that at the end, so we don't need to worry about losing that 58p. We started with a bank balance of £10, and as you can see, by the end of it, we'd made £11.35 profit. So that takes our total bank balance up to £21.35. So you can see that 113% return. Now, before I delve into the actual results themselves, I just want to show you actually how mental that return is. So if we come over to a compound interest calculator and say we're starting with that £10, we're having a monthly interest of 113%, which is crazy. But as you saw there, we've got that in our 1 month. We could even drop this lower to have a bit of leniency for if you have a bad month, but it's still going to have some crazy results. So we're starting with £10, we're compounding it monthly because that's when we would compound it and start upping our stakes for the next month. Let's see where this would leave us after a year. So after a year, we will be looking at 87,000. So it is absolutely mental. You wouldn't get to that point because you'd get gubbed by then, so you need to be careful. Me, for example, I'm not doing it in the off season. You could very well go do it on the MLS and some of the off leagues and continue doing 2-up, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to stick to the top 5 leagues just so my account doesn't look suspicious. But you can see here how quickly it grows from £10 to £21.30, which is where we are at now, to 45 to 96 to 205, and you can essentially see here you're more than doubling every single time. Now, even if we were really lenient and even took this down to just 60%, you can still see there is a huge potential for growth there, looking at 2,814. Now, you may not think that's a lot, but starting from £10 to grow up that much in 1 year, you could then literally be sat at that level, not compounding anymore at that point, and just getting that £700 a month return. That would be a huge result for something that takes so little time to do. Now, obviously, I'm going to be continuing this when the football season starts back up again. So let me just show you the actual results here again. You can see on the ones we won, it was where a team went 2-0 up that we were in a trade with. Now, we did in some instances instantly withdraw from the trade if the profit looked good at that point. So you can see here £1.83 profit here. We went straight for it because I was watching the game and didn't feel like they were getting back into it. Here you can see the team went 2-0 up, but the odds that were available for us to cash out at that point would have only resulted in a 1p profit. Now, I wasn't willing to take that. It was quite early on in that game, and I was quite happy to sit on that and hope the 2-1 came where there would be better results. Now, we've either took that 1p profit. You can see we would have gone up to 117% instead of 113%. So it does help every little bit, but I was hedging that one to be a little bit better. Now, you can see this one here, again, huge profit on that one. But you can also see here when in some instances it is worthwhile not taking the profit at 2-0 and waiting for it to go to 2-1. So you can see here, if we'd have waited for this one to go to 2-1, we would have made £4.41. And you can see there was actually a 2 up in this instance. It did go to 2-2, I believe, in the end. But you can see our profit here was £3.47. That is because I hedged a bit of the stake at 2-0 so that we wouldn't have as big of a loss. And then I hedged the rest of it at 2-1. So I didn't get the full profit that would have been available for that trade, but I'll show you how to hedge your 2-ups in just a second as well. Now you can see here in this instance, this one also went to 2-0, where it would have been 44p profit, 2-1, where it would have been £2.46 profit. But what I did in this instance was, again, I hedged it when it went to 2-0, and I hedged it so that I had no loss. Basically, if the team went on to win, I wouldn't have had a single penny lost. But if the 2-up had been triggered, which is what I was counting on, then I would have been absolutely fine and I would have got a huge return. Now, that was when they were playing Tottenham, and I think there was actually a late goal ruled out from Richarlison that would have made it the 2-up. That would have gave us, I believe, £11 worth of profit. And that trade in the end had no risking whatsoever. So again, with this one, if that £11 worth of profit had been there, you can see the huge potential for this. So this wasn't even that great of a month of doing 2-up. We were really selective with our matches and we made some very good profit. But in reality, it could have been a lot bigger and a lot better. So if you're wanting to get started on 2-ups, the best way to go about it is OddsMonkey. I've got a link in the description. It helps me out if you use it. If you don't want to use it, there's probably some better 2-up matches out there that are cheaper or free. But I just love OddsMonkey and how the site works. You can see my 2-ups here have all been logged. I've put them all in. I've put the profit and losses. But to get to the 2-up screen, you'd go up to Tools, go to 2-up Matcher, and it is that simple. I've got my own personal setup down here called 2-up New, where I look for these bookmakers, these exchanges, and I also have it in the next 24 hours. I normally lower that down to 95. I do need to change that. And you can see here, there isn't actually any available at this current time for my setup. But if we refresh it here, you can see there's some other ones at this point. So Coral and Smarkets, that's because I didn't have Coral selected. You can see there's actually one here that's 97.15%. The odds are above 2.0, which is where I'd go for. So it's actually not looking too bad. At the moment, you'd make either a 28 or a 29p qualifying loss on your £10 stake. And that's not too bad of a return at all. If you find a trade you like the look of, you'd go over to Coral, place that, and then you'd link your account with Smarkets or Betfair and get it to get laid here automatically. But if we just go over then to Tools, go to All Calculators, and then go to the Early Payout Calculator over here. This is why I've kept this spreadsheet, because it helps me keep track of the back odds and the lay odds that were there at the time of the trade. So if we use this as an example, this top trade here, you can see we've got 2.3 and 2.34. So we'll do 2.3 and 2.34. That's over at Smarkets, so that would have a 0% commission. We'd be using a £10 stake, and you can see here what it's looking like. Now actually it's giving me a different profit there, so I'm guessing I actually do have a 2% commission over at Smarkets, so we'll put that back in. Now all you'd need to do is keep an eye on that match and wait, hopefully, for Real Salt Lake to go 2-0 up. Doesn't have to be 2-0, it just has to be 2 goals clear. So it can be 3-1, it can be 4-2. As long as they're 2 goals clear, this event will trigger. And then you change the early payout to be yes. So you can see here at this point, you're then potentially looking at £22.71 profit if they then go on to bottle that 2-0. Now, you can, at that point, once the team has gone 2 goals clear, look at the odds that are available. So as you can see here, we had a different selection of odds. It depends on the minute in the game when they've gone 2 goals clear and depends how the match is going. But you can see you're never going to get that high of an odds. You're going to get between 1.01 and probably 1.3 if you're lucky. So we'll just put down 1.1 here and just give you a little bit of an insight. So if it was at 1.1, you can then go back onto Betfair, go to the team that you've laid. So say for example it was this team, and then you're just going to quite simply back and put in that back stake there. That is then going to guarantee you and lock in that profit. So that's what you can do. You can wait for it to go 2-1, whereas you can see over here the odds go up a bit, 1.32, 1.14 because it was a bit later on in the game. But if you manage to get up to that 1.3 mark, you can see the guaranteed profit goes up as you'd expect. Now there is the advanced mode to this as well, where you can see here, say the team has gone to that 1.1 that we thought, you can then lock in a certain proportion if you want. So you can drag this all the way along until your team wins gets to 0, or as close to 0 as you want. So here, for example, if we then went and backed £2.95 at that 1.1, we're getting a guaranteed 2p profit. And then if the 2 up gets fully triggered, we're looking at £19.82. No risk at all after the team's gone 2-0 up. You can change that if you want, get less of a profit potentially if the 2 up happens, but more of a guaranteed locked in one. And then all you need to do if you've done that is put that into this section here. So put in your back stake and your back odds, and you can see that gone to where it was before. And then all you need to do in future, if the team goes 2-1 up, you can, or if the game then goes to 2-1 or someone gets a goal back, you can then put the next batch of odds in, say 1.4, and then do the rest of it. So that will be your 100%, that will be the stake you need, incorporating the part back that you've already done. So again, there's a huge amount of possibilities you can have with 2 up, where you don't need to worry about the 2 up actually getting triggered. Now another thing you should really be doing with 2 up is if we look over here to this hand side, you can see what it would have been like if you went as a percentage of your bank balance instead of just using your flat £10. So throughout this whole section here, I was just using a flat £10 stake. But if I'd have been using increments and going up, you can see what that would have been like here. We would have started with our £10, then got to £26.14 instead. So it would have made us an extra couple pounds there. And you can see over at the 150 where it would have been different there as well. So that's looking at an even bigger percentage return. But I was trying to be as conservative as I could be, and we still somehow got 113%. Now it will fluctuate month to month. You'll get good months and you'll get bad months. But as long as you stick with that percent, as long as you stick with that rating and you're cautious with your 2 ups and getting the guaranteed profit locked in and working around it in more effective ways, you will see a profit long term. Let me know what your 2 up strategy is down below. Let me know how often you think this 100% would actually come in, and we'll give it a look next year to see just how much I managed to make.